was pretty interesting simply because of the weather. It was almost like last year where we had these monsoons. So yeah, we're lining up and we can see the clouds start rolling in, and I'm just sitting there going, "You're kidding me!" And it's kind of typical of how my season has been up to this point. Just nothing has rolled my way, and the luck hasn't been on my side.
So for the first run out, as I was waiting in line, I noticed that the clouds were getting heavier and heavier, and as soon as I stepped into the start line, the rain started to fall.
The first FRS informative competition, the Goosh Ken Gushi, the Gretty Scion Racing FRS. Oh! Clipping the wall.
So we probably had the worst of the rain session here in New Jersey. I mean, I tried my best to keep it off the wall, but we had a little incident with the wall towards the exit of the bank. Tapped the wall a little bit, but thankfully we avoided complete collision with it. I was able to save the car, so we scored a 60.5.
60.5 for Ken the Goosh Gushi. You saw the lightning, hopefully you brought the thunder here as Tyler McCory on the line, the Mobile One Chevrolet Camaro.
So I go out there on a wet track, which it hasn't rained at all this whole time we've been here for practice or anything.
Tyler the Rock McCory transitioning through the latter part of the figure eight. So here we go with Tyler McCory, scores to 65.5. 65.5 for Tyler the Rock McCory. Currently leading the X-Mini Rookie Challenge, Daigo Saito. If you followed Formula Drift this season, you've seen some different initiations and basically a very controversial battle between Justin Pollock and Daigo Saito, a different form of initiation or pouring out more angle. That came into play. So the judges making sure that everybody is consistent and no foul play on initiation.
今回のラウンドバンクがあって日本だとあまりバンクがないんで慣れてないんですごい苦戦してます。
So a 66 for Daigo Saito and the Keeley's Radial Lexus SC. Here we go, Daijiro Yoshihara, Discount Tire, Falcon Tire S13. Your 2011 Formula Drift champion. Let's see how he can hang. Flipping the throttle, running the red number on the side because he is your current champion. Daijiro Yoshihara. Make some noise for Dai Yoshihara. There's Dai Yoshihara scoring 73. Again, unofficially a 73.
As it started to cycle back through the second run, it stopped raining and it just started to dry.
Tyler the Rock McCory, here we go. 65.5 was his first run. Let's see if he can better here. The flick initiation from Tyler McCory, launching it into the bank. Is Tyler the Rock McCory. Good transition. Oh, buddy. Nice job placing that left rear right where the judges want it, between that white and yellow line.
Still wet, but it wasn't raining anymore, so the speeds really weren't there. From that point on, a couple cars after me, the track was totally dry. So the judges started throwing out 90 scores, so we dropped like a rock there at the very end and ended up 12th.
So he does better at 73.5 for Tyler McCory on his second run.
But again, all things considered, not too bad, but still would have liked to have had a chance to go out on a dry track that we practice on and had our setup for, but we were in.
So for the second run, I knew I had to clean up those errors, go in harder, and we actually took off the front and rear sway bars to set up for the rain, dropped the tire pressure a little bit, and for the second session, as we were waiting in line again, it dried up completely. So now I'm waiting in line at the start line, and I'm like, oh my God, it's dry. And I'm sitting in the car with the rain setup. What's gonna happen?
Here we go in the Gretty Scion FRS. This is the Goosh, Ken Gushi on hand-cooked tires. Nice job, looking a lot smoother and faster, obviously.
I went in pretty much blind and just gave it my all. I mean, I had nothing to lose at this point, so I threw it in there, and surprisingly, it held up pretty good. So as soon as I knew that it was going to make it, I just got on the gas right away and just tried to floor it through the bank. Came out really hot and finished the course.
All right, Ken Gushi, he had a 76 on his second run.
We're extremely happy with the results right now, considering that we went in with the wrong setup, but the team did good making that call, and we'll try to figure things out for the next practice session.
Daijiro Yoshihara with his second run. Nice job on the bank as Dai Yoshihara, 47 miles an hour, just barely hitting the minimum speed. Good transition, scrubbing that speed. Good consistent angle and smoke coming off of Dai's car.
I qualified fourth place last night. My discount tire 13 is really good right now.
It's a 92 for Daijiro Yoshihara, so boom, jumps it up there as we continue on to the action. Currently second in points, Daigo Saito, current leader in the X-Mini Rookie Challenge.
ランキングはあんまり考えないようにしてて、とりあえず バンクをなるべく攻略しようと考えてます。バンクがうまく当てれれば勝てるかなと思います。
80.5, 80.5 for Daigo Saito and the Keeley's Radial Lexus SC.
Is there any questions that you guys had about tandem? Basically, same road goes as follows. As a lead driver, nice and high line, big angle, all the aspects from line, angle, and style, so as I said here. From there, chase car's job is to stay as close as possible to the lead car. Stay within proximity from start to finish. We also have speed 1 lock coming out of the bank at the same time. That is an aid and tool for us to use when we feel that there's foul play being involved with speed. So we don't want to see abrupt stalls or a long e-brake drag and stuff like that. We'll visually see your car come to an abrupt halt and then speed back up again to power through. We want to see you use your momentum of the vehicle to get the car sideways and to carry it through the first turn. All right.
Going into top 32 practice, it was going really well, had some really good runs, but I was trying to change up my entries. They wanted me to be less aggressive with my feint, so I was trying to be less aggressive, but the car straightened up and just went into the wall. I was the last run in practice before we were going into our top 32 battles, and I hit hard. And the back went in, and then it sucked the front in and ripped the whole left front off the car. And I got out and looked at it, and I pretty much thought my day was done. And wasn't good. I was pretty pissed off, to be honest. We bring the car back to the pits and these guys start thrashing on it, and we're on the bottom of the left side of the ladder, which means there's about 14, 15 pairs to go before we have to be up there. We called 5 minutes, Formula D's over here, I'm in the car, they drop the car down, I roll over there. I was matched up with Dennis Mertonis for top 32, and he was waiting over there, and it was kind of eerie because last year I called 5 minutes right before top 32 with Dennis, so he was probably getting a little deja vu there. But I went out there and I'm sitting there going, man, I got to do this for these guys. They just busted their butts and fixed the car faster than I ever could imagine.
Great to see that Gardella Racing built Mobile One Camaro up on the line after that crash in practice. Tyler McCurry is going to be leading Mobile One Camaro, Yokohama tires, followed by Dennis Porzanis and the Kenda Tire S13.
Went out there and I just drove angry, just pissed off, and it worked.
Dennis Porzanis is going to be leading, Tyler McCurry is going to give chase.
I had a good lead run, my follow run, I was all over him.
Dennis Porzanis initiating into that first corner, high on the bank. That's a good line from Dennis. Oh, tags the wall. Loses a bumper, not able to make that transition to the bank. Looks like Tyler McQuarrie is going to have a pretty easy run.
So we're moving on. It's awesome. I'm feeling really good in this car, and I can't wait to do battle.
So for the top 32 rounds here at Wall Speedway, we were matched up against Patrick Mordaunt from the Apex Racing team.
Here we go with Gucci and Mordaunt. Gucci's going to be leading as the higher qualifier, initiating with the Hankook tires.
For the lead run, I just put on a qualifying style run. Didn't even look behind me.
Coming down across the bank. Both drivers hitting that clip pretty smoothly.
His spotter was telling me that I could have possibly had an advantage, so in the follow run, I knew I just had to, do my thing, stick it right there, and see if I can pull out the win.
Pat Mordaunt leading. Ken Gucci going to give chase.
For my follow run against Pat, coming off the bank, he transitioned and clipped the clipping point zone cone, and that thing flew towards my car and knocked my bumper off. So at that point, I was like, oh my God, this might lose my rhythm. But coming into the first inside bank, shallowed up a little bit, but it wasn't too much to the point where it was a complete mistake. So the judges gave me the win.
Ken's mom just texted me, this might be rough, but I think that was one more time. But we'll take the win.
Now this is going to be a very interesting battle. Luke Lomberger will be leading this first run on the right. Daigo Saito, a turbo by Garrett driver, so he's looking to hunt another V8. He's got the most kills of anybody. Lomberger initiating, Daigo right behind him. High on the bank, good run from both drivers. A lot of smoke coming off those Hankook tires. Daigo kind of conservative on this run. This is kind of surprising for me. So this will be interesting. Lomberger has said on Facebook he won't stand for any brake checking, and he's willing to apply throttle as needed. Got a good initiation, tons of smoke from Daigo. Looks like Lomberger's gonna need to catch him up. Oh, and Lomberger spinning as he crosses the infield. Pretty much official that Daigo's going to be moving on. He'll be facing Odi Bakshis in the next round.
In top 32, I went up against Taka Aono.
Here we go, coming off the line. Dio Yoshihara's going to lead. Takayama giving chase. Got that flick entry from Dio Yoshihara. Takayama right behind him.
I think he did really good on the bank. He was really close. But towards the end, I think I made quite a big gap between me and him.
Looks like Taka's taking that wider line. Not as much smoke, but again, not making any major mistakes. Dai's just running that qualifying line as prescribed by the judges in the driver's meeting. Good smoke from Dai Yoshihara off those Falcon tires.
And then when I followed him,
So these guys will switch. Taka a little bit slower than Dai. It'll be interesting to see how this follow run goes. Taka's going to be initiating. Good run on the bank. Nexon tires under the wheels. Dai Yoshihara not behind him again. Not as much smoke from Taka, but still plenty of speed.
I think he misshipped in the third corner, and actually he kind of gave up at the point, and I have to pass him, and I finished the track. So that was like a major mistake by Taka, and that made me move on to top 16.
Looking ahead a little bit, we got some great matchups coming up in the top 16. We're going to be going underway. Odi Bakshi's #1 qualifier is going to lead. Daigo Saito is going to give chase, initiating into the first corner. Odi initiated a little bit later than I would expect. Daigo hard on his door. Daigo really showing that he's a great chase driver. Coming across the infield as Daigo's tucking inside. I don't think that's quite the line that they're looking for, but he's got that proximity for sure. Daigo hard on the chase of Odi Bakshi. Odi driving a good, consistent, stable line. Really no major bobbles. The judges are asking for another replay. They want to see exactly what happened here. It looked like Odi tagged, kind of nicked the clipping point coming off the bank on that switchback. Odi barely touches it. Daigo explodes it. Just going to kind of ingest it all and see what happens with this monster. Daigo Saito initiating. Odi initiated extremely late. He's much shallower on the bank, and Daigo's just running away from it. Now Odi just needs to stay focused and keep driving his line. He can't be focused on trying to cut any corners or anything. He needs to stay in drift the entirety of the course. Oh, that looked like Daigo straightened out there right after that transition. What a great top 16. Daigo Saito gets the win. It was a unanimous decision. His 4th consecutive grade 8 in 4 Formula appearances. We've got Conrad Grunwald versus Ken Gucci coming up.
I had a really good following lap going against them in the first run.
Conrad Grunwald, the defending champion in New Jersey. Hancock Tire headquarters just down the street. Conrad initiating high on the bank. Gucci just as high on the bank. Great tire smoke from both drivers coming across the infield. Almost equal angle from both. Looks like Conrad is really slowing up a little bit on the infield. Gucci's able to close in the gap, stay tight to Conrad. Give enough room for that transition. I expect Gucci to suck into him again on this inner transition. Not quite the proximity I think the judges are looking for. I don't think either driver necessarily earned an advantage, but neither driver has lost an advantage.
Absolutely.
Coming into the first turn, Conrad is getting a little bit lower on the bank. Gucci seems to have more angle. Conrad taking the shallower line. There you see the Hancock Tire smoke. Gucci punts that clipping point out of the way, but Gucci spinning on the infield.
Coming off the bank on my lead run, I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't looking at the right clipping point, and I totally transitioned way too early and dove right straight into the clip point, the stick thing. So at that point I was like, this is done. And I transitioned again, and I had way too much angle going into the first inside bank. So I spun around and I lost. And it's just unfortunate because my team did a great job putting the car together. I mean, we came here, we just swapped out the suspension, and it was feeling really good, and we qualified really good too. So it's just unfortunate what happened, but I guess we just have to make changes and make sure I'm looking at the right direction for the next round at Seattle.
So this next battle coming up, Tyler McQuarrie, Chelsea Denofa, both these cars have been putting off great smoke all weekend long. So here we go, coming into the first corner. Oh, Chelsea looks like he had a problem, had to reinitiate.
I knew it was going to be a battle. He went really slow into the bank. I barely got up into fourth gear, so I knew our entry speed was way down, so it really bogged me down into the bank. I kept good proximity, probably like a car length. It wasn't the best, just because I got so bogged down in the bank. But the judges definitely saw that and made note of it, and they told us not to do that in the driver's meeting. On my lead run, I knew I just had to go all out. I knew he was going to be all over me.
Tyler McQuarrie is going to be initiating. Chelsea's going to be following. Tyler initiating very slow on the bank. Oh, Tyler back into the wall.
Oh, wow.
Big collision.
I just got into the bank and just got into the wall a little bit with the rear, and he came in behind me and hit me from behind. And it actually put me up on the wall. We actually did, I think, the first 50-50 grind in Formula D. Again, I thought we were done.
One thing that the judges have talked about was how to judge that second run. Overall, the decision was made that both drivers crashed, and it was unclear whether either driver would have been able to continue the run. So the judges decided that that run would be considered a wash. The first run would then be the only run that was judged, and therefore Tyler McQuarrie will be getting the win on this run. Tyler McQuarrie will be moving on to the top 8.
In the top 16 round, I went up against Reese, and the battle was really tight.
These guys are very familiar with each other, good friends, but enemies on the line. Daiyo Shihara's V8 power of the Falcon Tire F13. Reese Millen in the V6 of the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Daiyo Shihara high on the bank. Reese closing up that gap, staying close to Daiyo Shihara. Good proximity, this is what you want to see. Transitioning back.
When he was following me, he hit me a couple times. That means he was that close.
Damn, dude, he hit me a few times. Yeah, roger that.
Wow, Daiyo Shihara and Reese Millen, this is a great round. This is only the top 16. Reese Millen is going to be leading this run. Daiyo Shihara will be giving chase. Good initiation from Reese, high on the bank. Good smoke from both these cars coming across the middle. Reese hits that same clipping point that Dai hit. Dai is on pretty close to his door. Looks like Reese is pulling away a little bit. Transition across the middle. Dai is able to maintain good proximity as well. Wow. Oh man. I see a lot of people holding the number 1 in the air. Daiyo Shihara gets the win. Daiyo Shihara gets the win. I think the punishment for Reese Millen for the contact was the deciding factor.
He's aggressive. It was really tough, but it was really fun because I can trust this guy. Thanks, man. I know it was really tight. Okay. Next battle, I think I got Tyler. Another good friend of mine. What the hell, man? He's smoking me right now. Is that his strategy or what?
Daiyo Shihara, Tyler McQuarrie, next up on track. This Camaro is repaired from the prior run-in with Chelsea Denofa on the main track. Daiyo Shihara is going to lead the first. Great entry from both drivers there. Daiyo Shihara and Tyler McQuarrie both utilizing that flick entry. Coming across the start finish line. Both drivers are able to stay clear of that clipping point.
When I was leading, I was able to make pretty good gap.
Dai pulls away a little bit, back to the transition. Some great angle for Tyler McQuarrie.
But when he was leading, I would stay pretty close.
Here we go, Yokohama tires on Tyler McQuarrie's car, stock tires on Daiyo Shihara's car. Great smoke from Tyler McQuarrie.
I went up against Daiyo Shihara in the Grade 8 and had a great battle with him.
Unanimous decision, Daiyo Shihara gets the win.
Dai got the win and we got knocked out again, so pretty disappointed with that result. You know, especially for these guys. They just busted their butt all day long, and it's a true testament to this team. The whole Mobil 1 Chevrolet Camaro team just killed it today. I was just blown away how hard they worked, and I owe these guys a win, and it's coming soon.
We've got starter line activated, and Daigo Saito is going to be following that turbo bike Garrett. Conrad Grunwald with the lead, making that initiation on the bank. See a little shallower angle from Daigo initially. A lot of smoke coming off Conrad's car. Daigo takes out that clipping point. tons of angle from Daigo. I thought he was going to lose it. Wow. Look at him. Daigo dump that angle, take out another clipping point. Very shallow on drift through the whoops. Great proximity from Daigo, but I think some of those mistakes on line might affect him.
Absolutely, that was certainly not the run Daigo wanted. Conrad, awesome run, but you know, he hasn't been the fast car here this weekend. That Lexus certainly is.
Go with Daigo Saito initiating drift. Conrad taking the lower line on the bank. Tons of smoke, can't even see Conrad's car. Conrad's able to avoid that clipping point and not take it out like Daigo did. Little shallow line from Conrad. Of course, Daigo's gonna walk away from this with all the power. More than 1,200 horsepower under the hood of that car.
I see the judges right now.
Unanimous decision. Daigo Saito gets the win. Daigo Saito will be moving on to the Final Four for his 4th consecutive Formula D event.
And now I'm getting a Daigo, I think.
I was just talking to Daigo. He says he's scared.
That was my second time to have battle with him, and I knew it was going to be a really tough one.
I still have a good feeling about this. Good to know, Mike. I like your good feeling.
Daigo Shihara is sitting in 3rd in points. Daigo Saito sitting in 2nd in points, and the leader, Justin Pollock, is knocked out already. So this could be a potentially pretty big shakeup in the points. Daigo Shihara is going to lead. Daigo Saito is going to give chase. Daigo Shihara high on the bank. Daigo Saito tries to follow him up there on the switchback. Again, Daigo Saito has almost no angle coming through that transition. Wow, look at Saito. Looked like he was going to wash out and lose drift. Was able to save it. Transition much earlier than Daigo. Very shaky runs from Saito in the follow.
Daigo was driving really hard, and then he was really close to me when he was falling.
Perfect lead run. Daigo made a mistake right at the end. Minor mistake, but your lead run was perfect.
Daigo Saito's front brake light did go on. That left to right transition has been kind of tricky for Daigo.
I think it's great to see Daigo learning from his last runs. He's had issues with transition off the bank, clipping cones, but right there he transitioned very, very early.
So again, Saito initiating on his lead run. Had some left foot braking going into that first turn. Here's the transition. Looked like a smooth transition there from Saito. Daigo Shihara is able to close in that gap, get a lot closer to Saito, and Saito pulls away coming around that horseshoe. Back through the transition, a little bit of left foot brake again through that transition. Daigo Shihara is closing up that gap.
Yeah, that wasn't perfect on your part, but he wasn't perfect either. Could be one more time.
Give us a pick.
I'm saying one more time.
Well, I like Dai. The judges wanted one more time. That's what matters. So we're going one more
I'm
time.
happy. I called it. I got a right call for once, what do you know?
Daigo Saito will be leading. Daigo Shihara will be chasing. Here we go, into the bank. Again, some left foot braking on initiation. Daigo Saito saw what JR did on initiation and wants to emulate him. Very high on the bank, taking out that clipping point on the switchback. That will likely be a deduction. Daigo Shihara with some great proximity. We haven't seen anybody keep up with Daigo through this part of the course as well as Dai did. Back through the whoop, coming around, a little left foot braking action. Daigo Shihara running a little bit shallower, which the judges have permitted for following purposes to keep that proximity. A great run from Daigo Shihara. I have to say that's probably one of the best chase runs we've seen all weekend from any of the drivers.
Damn, man, it's a tight battle. Take slight advantage you.
Andy Yen and Brian Eggert both chose Daigo Shihara, so Daigo Shihara will be moving on.
Yeah! Thanks, guys.
We'll see you back at the pits.
So Daigo Shihara will be moving on. Dai is 2-0 against Daigo Saito. He's the only driver who's been able to defeat Daigo Saito twice this season.
It was a close one, but Daigo definitely has a style that I don't think's really been seen in the States, and you know, being a Japanese driver, maybe Dai is just adapting to it better. He probably knows his moves a little bit better, and I guess that's what I wanted for him.
This is fucking ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
なんか進入でちょっとなんかこう入ってちょっと加速してから前で引いたのかなんかわかる。当たりそうなと思って進入で外側に当たりそうなった。当たりそうになったのってどこでダメなのかな。 題としてネタされる。But you know that didn't really screw up Dai's run. でもそれで大二郎君が失敗してんだと分かるけど。They did the initiation, or when Daigo did his cheating initiation, and Daigo did it. It doesn't matter. Dude, it's not. Dude, he's not. Everybody's against him, and this is how it's gonna be. That's cool. こういう。ジャッジに聞いていい。スカイサイドは多分聞いてない。こっちの方のバンクで下に落っこっちゃったからぶつかりそうになって下に落ちそうになったから一回サイドで上げたけど。確かに。そんなに記憶にないけど、落ちそう当たりそうになって落ちそうになってもう一回上がろうとしたの。侵入はダメなんだよ。パーフェクトじゃないからダメなんだよ。
We're going to go to the consolation round first between Daigo and Forsberg for that third place position. Daigo Saito on the left, Chris Forsberg on the right. We are ready to go for the consolation round. This is the last rung on the podium. Chris Forsberg is going to lead as the higher qualified driver. Daigo Saito is going to give chase. Great proximity there on the big bank from Saito. Here comes that transition that Saito has just continued to struggle with all weekend long. Oh, is there a collision there? Looked like car-to-car contact. Chris Forsberg continues his run. Daigo Saito straightened out. Back through the loop section. Let's take a look at this replay.
Yeah, good height on the bank by both drivers, good proximity, but Daigo is struggling with this transition, and this is what affected him in the bottom corner. He transitions early, not much angle, therefore is coming in here with more speed than maybe he intended to, has trouble slowing it down and makes contact, but Chris isn't even phased, stays on it, clears the rest of the course.
So Daigo Saito will switch. He will be on the right side. Again, a turbo by Garrett. Chris Forsberg on the left. Here we go, down the back straight. Daigo Saito initiating, high on the bank. Staying high through the majority of the bank. Chris Forsberg not far behind him. Back on that transition. Takes out that same clipping point over and over. Chris Forsberg closing up that gap. See Daigo Saito get back on the power, pull a little bit of a gap, expand that proximity. Forsberg, status quo for him time and time again. You can see the great views from the GoPro cameras mounted on both cars. Oh! Forsberg may have made contact with Saito, but he spun out. Woo! So, unanimous decision. Chris Forsberg is given the win. This will be his first ever podium in New Jersey. These guys giving props to each other. A good run from both drivers.
I think you have time to catch a couple waves, buddy.
Sounds good, buddy.
So this is for everything. This is for the win. Bonnier Jr. on the right, Dio Shar on the left. Both these drivers have done well in the past. Bonnier Jr. initiating first, leading as the second-ranked qualifier high on the bank. Interesting, keeping his bumper intact for his first lead run in the several matchups. Continuing around the inside, Dai, decent proximity, but not as close to some of the previous runs. Dai is having a conservative run. There goes that bumper. JR took out, wow. Bonnigan Jr. took out the clipping point on the inner clip.
Not supposed to give it to him, dude. He made some big mistakes there.
He is a lot faster than the practice, man.
That's okay, dude. He's got to take care of himself. You're leading now, so you're controlling this.
This is for all the ponies. Here we go, Dyer Char initiating. Bonnigan Jr. behind him. One a little bit higher at the start of the bank. Both drivers high on the bank through the end. Back through the transition. Both drivers leave the clipping point. Dai has a good run. JR almost spins out, but is able to maintain drift through that entirety of that corner. That is very impressive from Bonnigan Jr. Dai with substantially more angle. Wow, good proximity from JR as they cross through the start-finish line.
Dai, he did a half spin following you right here in front of us, dude. I think you got him.
He's on top of the tires. He's got to be into the hood. He's from Maryland. It's Bonnigan Jr., the most dangerous second place. Second place. Here's Scott Orr, Taishiro Yoshihara, the discount tire, American tire, Stop the tire, S13. There you have it. 1, 2, and 3.
I thought I could get it. Feels like I felt really good. But I think I used all my energy towards Daigo.
Here we go, second place here at round 4 of the Formula Gym Pro Championship. In the discount tire, Falcon Tire S13, your 2011 Formula Gym Champion, Daichiro Yoshihara! Congratulations, buddy.